What is the first thing you're doing after you finish exams? And so I think having an escape from that is really important. So path that I didn't expect it to. I really feel like I've met a lot of people who, do you think A-levels were worth it? Hi guys, it's Riley. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I thought we could do a little bit of like a pre-exams Q&A. I've asked my friends to give me some questions about before exams and they have delivered. We've got a good amount of questions that I'm going to be answering today, just to let you guys know kind of how I'm feeling before exams, any kind of last minute exam season advice I have and things like that. So got my tea, we're just going to keep it cozy today and I'm just going to answer some of these questions. If you guys are new around here, then I'm a final year sixth form student studying English literature, law and sociology, and as I am filming this there are 6 days until my A-level exams start and I'm terrified. I am really nervous for this exam season. I feel like there's a lot depending on these exams, and there is, because these are the exams that are going to determine whether or not I can go to the university that I want to go to, and it's quite terrifying, but we're gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this and I'm gonna get to where I want to be. Okay, so the first question, what is your favorite part of exams? Now this is kind of a little bit of like a strange-ish kind of question, because I feel like, what would be your favorite part about an exam? Honestly, I feel like exams kind of bring out the kind of interconnectedness between like your class. Like I always feel like everyone's always asking like, how did you do you feel like it went well? And I just really kind of like moments like that really kind of unite your class. I feel like exam season is usually the best thing that kind of brings that out, because obviously we're all quite anxious and so we all kind of like connect with one another because we all kind of share the same sort of feeling of anxiousness. But also I'm kind of a nerd, like I quite enjoy the revision process. When you finally get your head around like a concept or you finally commit something to memory, that is such a gratifying feeling. Okay, next question. What is the first thing you're doing after you finish exams? Honestly, hopefully, I'm gonna have a nice big juicy cathartic cry. I don't know if this is like weird. I have not cried like properly in almost a year. In fact, over a year. There have been so many moments where I've just felt like a good cry is all I need to just get me back on track. But for some reason, I've never been able to get into my feels and to let those tears out. And so I feel like I've just been kind of building up a lot of stress and a lot of emotions, and I kind of haven't been releasing that in the way that I want to release it. So I'm hoping that by either the end of exam season or by results day, I'm gonna just have a fat juicy cry. I don't know like if there's gonna be anything that particularly brings it on, but just that release of all this tension that I've been holding on to for the last like while is just gonna release, and that would be something that I would ideally like to happen. What am I actually gonna be doing after exam season? I'm hoping to work this summer because university is going to be expensive, so I need to earn some money to pay for my degree and to be able to afford to live basically. And so I need to work on building up kind of my savings before that, because student finance only goes so far. I'd love to just dedicate some more time to content creation because this is a hobby of mine. This is something that I really enjoy and it's something that brings me a lot of joy. Being able to just kind of dedicate myself semi full-time to this and just seeing where it takes me, honestly. I'm not going to have any sort of restraints because I'm not going to be in academics and I'm not really going to have any other commitments hopefully other than work. And I also really want to get back into my reading game as well. There are so many books I want to read. Like I want to tackle The Count of Monte Cristo this summer. One of my friends is doing the same thing. Not doing it because they're doing it. I've also wanted to read that book, and so I think summer's the best time to do that. And yeah, just kind of working on myself, by myself, for myself before, I was going to say before exams, but before university. Okay, third question. What is your favorite subject? It's always been English. I love reading. I love analyzing literature to a certain extent. I don't like going into detail about like the specific analytical features. Anything but AO2. If you do OCR, y'all will get it. Y'all will get it. I feel like I've kind of had a love-hate relationship with English over the sixth form period, honestly. English literature A-level is difficult. The grade boundaries are so tight. So while I enjoy English, it's kind of a subject I've really struggled with over these last 2 years. I feel like I've kind of finally found my groove and I'm starting to make some improvements, and hopefully all is going to go okay in the exam. If I was to rank them, it would probably be English at the top, law second. I love law and just like learning about it, but it is quite like a difficult subject to apply, and especially human rights, that's really difficult as well. And then sociology at the bottom, not because I hate any of my subjects, like I love all of my subjects, but if I were to have to rank them based on how much I love them, sociology would be at the bottom. Okay, 4, kind of a general one. What's some advice you have for exam season? season. I've said this a lot of times and I'm going to say it again. Keeping up with your hobbies is kind of an important thing to have in exam season. Exams are stressful and you're going to be getting quite like worked up about exams and worked up about like what you've written and things like that. And so I think having an escape from that is really important. So for me, obviously reading, I think it's important to be active in exam season as well. So going on walks, going on runs, and just being social as well and talking about it, because bottling up those feelings never helps. There's a lot of like conflicting interests on whether you should talk about the exam after it, but I think it could be really helpful for processing your thoughts and your feelings about it. Honestly, if you have the right mindset, like when you've done the exam, there's nothing you can do to change it. Reflecting on the exam, if you have that mindset, then I just think it could be quite beneficial for processing that information. But also stay consistent, stay focused. Your energy levels are going to be going all over the place during exam season. You're going to have some really great exams that put you on a high, and then some really, not really bad exams, but exams that haven't gone as well as those other exams. And so stay consistent, because I know it's going to be really tough. You're probably going to start with like a lot of energy and you're going to want to keep going. Once you've done a few exams, you may kind of lose that momentum, but keeping that momentum is so important for exam season. And it's something that I struggled with at GCSE, so something I'm definitely keeping in mind for my A-levels. Next question, what would you say to yourself at the start of year 12? Honestly, this is a really cute question and it's something I've been thinking about a lot, because I feel like I've really gone on like a journey through sixth form. Like I feel like an entirely different person now than I was at the start of year 12. At the start of year 12, I had my heart set on Oxford and I really wanted to be like a top performing student, you know, getting all A stars and things like that. And I'm not getting all A stars, but I would still call myself a top student. If I was to tell myself at the start of year 12, it would be, don't worry about it too much. The world's not going to end if you don't get an A star or you don't get an A grade. I'm getting like B's now, and B's are what's going to get me into university. There's nothing wrong with that. Also, be more open to other opportunities and don't just have your heart set on one thing. I just wanted to go to Oxford so bad at the start of year 12, and obviously I was rejected. Otherwise I'd be sat here saying, yeah, I can't wait to go to Oxford. But honestly, it didn't work out that way. And I would tell myself at the start of year 12, like, you're about to embark on such a crazy journey over these last 2 years. This sounds insane to say, but honestly, I feel like I have genuinely changed so much as a person. Like the people that I have met and the way that they've changed me and they've helped me to become a better person, to change my mindset surrounding things, and the connections that I've just developed with people have been amazing. So I would tell him, you know, you're about to embark on a journey. Enjoy every second of it. Stay consistent with your work. Don't let grades define you, because you can still be a top performing student even if you're not getting what are considered the top performing grades. Question 6. Do you think A-levels were worth it? Yes. A-levels are very stressful, and I've had that said to me by a lot of people. I've even had one teacher say that she found A-levels more difficult than her degree. They are intense, and especially if you're taking specific subjects with like difficult grade boundaries or difficult content, then it will be intense. But A-levels are not just what you're going to get out of the whole sixth form experience. You're also going to go on a journey and meet new people and have these amazing new experiences, and I think it's been worth it. I stayed at the same school I was at for GCSEs and since year 7, so I've been at my school since 2019. Like, that's insane. Even since then, I've come so far as a person. I think staying for sixth form, because sixth form is only 2 years and it's flown by and it will fly by, I think that that was worth it. I would say that I've kind of connected more with new people. Most of my friends did stay on for sixth form and I still talk to them and I'm still close with them, but I've also developed just like new friendships and connected with more people. And honestly, I think the change that I've had the last 2 years was definitely worth it. To stay in an environment that I'm comfortable in, but to just really kind of tie a knot on that change and to come out of sixth form with like a new perspective and like a fresh mindset. This is kind of a question kind of directed more towards people who may be considering sixth form. So what would you say to a student considering doing either an EPQ or 4 A-levels? If you are not familiar with what an EPQ is, it's called an extended project qualification. It is worth a half an A-level if you get like a A-star A grade, and it can help with like lowering university offers, and even just the skills that you develop through it is so useful for university essays and things like that. So I did one. Mine was about different teaching methods. I did an artifact EPQ, so that's where you produce something, and what I was producing were 2 lessons, and I taught the lessons in 2 different styles, and I assessed to see whether one style was more effective than the other style. I didn't get like a top grade with that, I'm gonna just be honest here, I got a C. I was 2 marks off of a B, and I was quite devastated that I showed a lot of that in my last vlog, so I won't go into too much detail here, but I think it was really beneficial. None of my universities like required it as a thing to help with like lowering university offers, but I did have a bit of fun doing it. I will admit that I did have fun doing it, as much as it was stressful and it was difficult to keep up with at times, like if things didn't particularly go to plan, or even just kind of understanding what the EPQ is. So I do a little bit of research and just speak to people about it. For A-levels, obviously I didn't do 4 A-levels. I never even considered doing 4 A-levels. Most universities will only look at 3. I would say do an EPQ, especially if you have like a university in mind that will take the EPQ and it will lead to lower university offers. Both are going to have like a lot of work, but I think the EPQ will be more beneficial than doing 4 A-levels. Unless of course there are definitely 4 A-levels that you want to take. If you're just kind of considering it as like a maybe I could do this, or it's just like a filler subject, then I would say go just for the EPQ. Question 8, how do you plan for the final stretch before exams? I have a love-hate relationship with planning. If you saw in the Easter holidays, I made an Easter holiday schedule. Didn't even make it past the first day, can I be honest? I don't even think I finished the first day. Planning can be quite a restricting thing. So I have a plan, but I'm kind of following it more loosely, and I'm being very, very brief with it on purpose. So I've only set like one major task to do a day, but I'm more of like a day-to-day person. I enjoy just kind of like going into school and then making my to-do list from there. That's been more beneficial for me. And I think just making sure that you're keeping in mind the topics that you struggle with and the topics that you already know pretty well. So the next question, what's your revision advice for exam season? I've done kind of like the general advice in terms of like staying sane essentially, but in terms of actual revision advice, I think that that's quite subjective, because there's things that different people do that work well for them. You guys know Beth. Beth is a flashcard queen. She has all her flashcards physically made, and she will spend time going through those and making sure that she knows the content. For me, I'm an online flashcard person, so I spend a lot of the time testing myself, and then I also like whiteboard blurting a lot. I think that that is my best revision advice, is blurting and using whiteboards for essay plans, for just blurting down content, for anything really. I think a whiteboard is definitely a good investment for exam season, but also practice questions will be your best friend. Don't be trying to cram like too much knowledge in. Honestly, if it's like a week before the exam or a few days before the exam and you don't know it, then the chances are you're not going to be able to recall it in the exam, so you just kind of have to come to terms with that. Would you recommend your A-levels to someone choosing A-levels for this coming school year? Why not? So as I've said, I did my A-levels in English, literature, law and sociology, and then I also did an EPQ with that. I really enjoyed my subjects. I really enjoyed the content and things like that. I think they were definitely good subjects to take. They are definitely very essay heavy, so if you're someone who doesn't really like essays, then you're probably not going to like these subjects. I have 8 exams, and most of them are upwards of 2 hours. In that time, you're going to be spending a lot of time writing. If you are considering taking English, literature, law and sociology, then I would definitely recommend it. If you like a lot of reading, learning a lot of content, I think there's a lot of stuff to remember for these subjects. Like for English, you have to remember like the quotes, the context, the critics, performances, the list goes on, dramatic features for some of the texts, so that's a lot to remember. For law, there's a lot of cases to remember, there's a lot of statutes to remember, like specific like sections of it, and then for sociology you have a lot of studies to remember, so there's a lot of memorization involved here. So if that's one of your strengths, then I would definitely recommend it. This next question, what do you do before exams? Now, I have spoken about this to a few people before, and lots of people have kind of differing ideas. I have a friend who's really into cramming before the exam. Like he will be head down writing, trying to cram all the last minute knowledge in his head. For me, I enjoy doing that to an extent, but I also like to make sure that I have time to get into the headspace before the exam, because I honestly think that a lot of exams are a mind game, so you have to be in the right headspace to sit an exam. So just reminding myself like, I've got this, I'm confident, and I will recall some stuff in exams, and I will do the best that I can, and reminding myself of that is really important. Also having some form of caffeine. I'm a caffeine fiend. I drink a lot of caffeine. I think before every one of my mocks I had an energy drink. I definitely want to make sure sure that I have some kind of like caffeine. I wouldn't recommend that. Has your A-level journey taken the path you expected? How or how not? So as I've said before, when I was in year 12, I had my heart set on going to Oxford to study, and I was really set on that. I really wanted to make sure that that would work, and obviously it didn't work out that way. I would say it kind of didn't quite follow the path that I expected, but I honestly prefer this path that it has taken me on. Like the university that I want to go to in September, I have fallen in love with. I love the campus, I love the modules, the accommodation looks really nice. I don't know what I thought in terms of like the social aspect, but I would definitely say that that would probably have taken like a path that I didn't expect it to. Like as I said, I made a lot of new friends and I hang out with a lot of those new friends. That was definitely something that was kind of unexpected. It's definitely gone on kind of like a different path than I expected. If you had the choice to go back to post GCSE, would you do A-levels again? And if you would, then would you pick the same subjects? I am definitely quite an academic person. I enjoy the academic setting, so I would definitely still do A-levels. I have enjoyed like learning the content for my A-levels, but honestly in the past few months I've really been changing sort of my career path, and so I think if I was to change anything, then I would have liked to have done maybe business as an A-level. I don't know what I would have done that instead of, probably like sociology or something, or maybe the other way around. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. That's actually a really hard question. If I had to, then I probably would have included business in that kind of realm, because I've been quite interested in like the whole business, like especially marketing, looking specifically at like social media marketing. And while obviously you wouldn't kind of niche down into that in the business A-level, I would love to have just kind of like to explore the world of business, honestly. But I would definitely still do A-levels. I cannot see myself going to college or going down any other route. What is the thing you struggled most with, and how did you overcome it? Honestly, my confidence levels been surrounded by a lot of people who are very high performing, very much like looking at like top grades, full marks, almost full marks. I've kind of struggled a lot with academic pressure I've put on myself, pressure that's kind of like naturally been created by being surrounded with people who are incredibly smart, and no hate to those people, honestly, they work so hard and they are so deserving of those top grades. Changing my mindset towards that, like just because I'm not performing at an A-star level does not mean that I'm going to fail in life. I think that that is definitely something that I have struggled with a lot, and a lot of talking to people about my feelings, and a lot of them telling me like, no, you know, obviously that like that's not true, and that if you get the grades to get to where you want to be, then you have still succeeded, even if it's not at the level that you would have wanted. I've had like quite a big insecurity of people like secretly not liking me, and I know that's not like related to sixth form at all, but it also kind of is, because it's to do with like friends, and not because my friends are bad people, but I don't know, I can't pinpoint where it started from. I struggled a lot, especially in year 12, of me not wanting to, you know, communicate with people because it felt like I was bothering them and that they were just pretending to be my friend, and obviously that is not true. And I have also like spoken about that and like talked it through with people to understand that that is just not the truth whatsoever. I'm now in like a position where I know that like my friends like me, they do not hate me, they are not secretly talking bad about me behind my back. What is your high point and low point of sixth form? So my high point definitely has to have been the friends that I've made and the connections that I have built with people. That has been something really positive to come out of sixth form, and I really feel like I've met a lot of people who I want to talk to for the rest of my life, and I want to not communicate with like every day, obviously, because that's just not realistic, but to just keep in touch with, you know, check in and see how they're doing. Honestly, I'm really grateful for this platform as well, because I feel like me making videos about my life is a really good way for me to kind of share those aspects with like my friends and even my family at times as well, and it just is not only a good memory for me to look back on, but it's also been fun to be able to share that with my friends as well. Low point, I feel like I haven't really had like a low point. I don't know what I would consider a low point to be, honestly. I've shared a little bit about some of like the struggles and, you know, my struggles with like academic pressure and academic comparison. I think that that would probably be a low point, but I don't know, I feel like that wasn't quite like the answer that people were looking for. And then this is gonna be my last question, because I feel like I've rambled for a while now. What is your best memory from sixth form? Definitely the Oxford open day trip that we we went on back in September. Even if they rejected me, Oxford is still a city that I absolutely love. The architecture, the history, it's just such a nice place to be, and I just love how like you're walking down the high street and then there's just like a university college there. Like, it's crazy. I did really enjoy the Oxford Open Day and getting to explore Oxford pretty openly without like being, you know, having to stick around with like teachers and whatnot, because I did go to Oxford to do a college visit in year 11, I think. I did really enjoy that bit, but then getting to go and to have like a proper look around the city, to be able to go into a few of the colleges and also to see the Radcam, and not only to see the Radcam but to go on a free guided Bodleian Libraries tour. So we literally went and we looked at the old Bod. We went to the Duke Humphreys Library as well, which is like a really old library that they even film like some of like Harry Potter in and stuff like that. And then we also went down, because in Oxford there's this thing called the Gladstone Link, and it's basically an underground tunnel which is still like a library. Like, there's books down there, you can study down there, and it basically links the Bodleian Libraries to the Radcliffe camera. And so not only did I get to see the old Bodleian Library, the Duke Humphreys Library, the Gladstone Link, but I also got to go inside the Radcliffe camera as well, and I love that building so much. Like, it's just beautiful. And I literally have a sticker of it on my laptop. I don't have my laptop open right now. Like, I was just in awe all day. I took so many pictures, and another highlight from that trip as well was definitely the visit to Blackwell's that we did as well. Blackwell's on Broad Street, which is, I think, the largest book selling space in the world. Like, my jaw dropped. My jaw did not stop dropping throughout the entire day. I did really enjoy the Oxford Open Day. Okay, so those are all of the questions. I did skip a couple. This is my last video before my exam season. I know I said my last vlog was going to be my last vlog, but this is the final video that I am posting before my exam season vlogs. I will probably be vlogging exam season depending on how stressed I get and whether I can manage that. But I definitely want to make some exam season vlogs, so I feel like it would be a really nice memory to look back on. But I'm not sure when I'm going to be posting them, because obviously I don't know how much time I'm going to have in the actual exam season. If I can, I'd love to get the first one out during the half term, but I'm not sure if that's going to work. So I'll definitely film everything, but then I'm not sure when I'm going to post them. I am basically going to go on a hiatus until my exam season diary vlogs are ready to go out, and then I'll probably film like another post-exams catch up and debrief after this, and I'll talk more about like my plans into the future. And then we're going to be jumping into summer vlogs where I can just basically vlog. I will definitely be vlogging at university, and I'll be doing a lot of like study vlogs and things like that, and I will be filming results day as well. So there is lots of juicy content to come up this summer. I do just want to say like a massive thank you to you all for your support during my content creation journey. Like, if you were to tell me that it's not gone like that far, but in comparison to where I started, obviously it has gone quite far, and you know, it's been pushed to a lot of people, and there's a lot of you who are returning to watch more videos, and you're not people who I've met in real life. That is crazy to me, that there is 150 of you. Thank you for 150 subscribers who have chosen to subscribe, and 150 of you who are constantly coming back for more content. Like, that fills me with so much happiness. I know I'm not like the most consistent. I do miss a lot of uploads, but when I do upload, you guys enjoy it so much, and so I do just want to say a massive thank you to you all. This has been such like an escape for me during sixth form. I know I'm posting like a lot of sixth form related videos, but you guys watching this content means the absolute world to me, so thank you all so much, and I hope to have as many of you as possible stick around for the summer and then my university vlogs as well. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you all somewhen with a little exam season diary vlog. Goodbye for now.